Good afternoon. Today's announcement is about the Inquisition that is going on right now. First of all, let's look at how we can tell. We saw that there was a false flag operation, a PSYOP, conducted by the CIA and the FBI and our own government. Now, if you don't know this, our own government repealed the Smith-Month Modernization Act, which was given in 1948, where the government could not use propaganda against its own citizens. So in 2012, they 122912 HR 4310 authorizes the use of propaganda on its own citizens of the United States. So they can lie all they want to you. They can put these videos on and say that they killed people and somebody kills somebody. So what they do is, if you've ever read this book, Transformation of America, they put you in a trance and make you believe everything that they're putting on the television. If you look at Project Mockingbird in the 1970s, they use propaganda against us. And if you look at who has infiltrated our own government, there's nowhere to look but this place right here, Jesuits. So if you start reading some books, this is 50 Years in the Church of Rome, written by a priest who tells us many things about the Jesuits and the Catholics. And if you read things like this, the Jesuits, the priest, and the confessional, and we do know that the Jesuits have infiltrated every church. Now this is the problem. Because the sheep are so naive, they don't want to believe that there are shepherds right now lying to you in your own churches. They've been lying to you. They infiltrated the church a long time ago. In the 70s and 80s, more of it was prevalent and people could see it. But now, since so many people and generations have slept, it says while men slept, they came in. And so you need to know who the Jesuits are. The Jesuits are a military religious order of the Roman Catholic Church. When a Jesuit of the minor ranks is to be elevated, he has a certain ceremony he goes through, and basically they go through that ceremony and he makes a vow that says, "My son, heretofore you have been taught to act the dissembler among Roman Catholics, to be a Roman Catholic, and to spy even among your own brethren." So the Jesuits spy among their own brethren. And just to let you know some more information about the Jesuits, in 2014, they started with a new, in other words, worldwide, more infiltrated into the United States. They opened up in Canada and the United States. They started bringing in more Jesuits, and they say on their own websites, the largest order of the Catholic Church, the Superior General of the Jesuits, has reaffirmed what he calls the vision of our universal vocation, which is to go anywhere in the world where there is hope for God's greater glory. Now the Jesuits are a military operation. So they've had recently a graduation of, they have ordained 20 new priests in the United States, Canada, and Haiti. So that tells you where they're really trying to infiltrate even more, take over. They say on their own website many things that if you could just realize what they're saying, you might understand what's happening. They say that they are in institutions like your hospitals, military, and schools. So they love that they are everywhere, and they will pretend to be anyone, and they will even renounce the Catholic Church. So if you ask a Seventh-day Adventist pastor if he's Catholic, he'll tell you no, but he is. Even people that I knew. So what I want to show you though is we're going to talk about this false flag in Orlando. And all this will be posted at Times and Laws after this video, so I'll put everything up there. I'll put links. I have links to everything that I'm telling you today. If you need to know what's going on, let's first go and talk about the main subject of the false flag in Orlando. One of the things that just recently came out is, well, we know that that false flag was done at the Pulse, P-U-L-S-E, Pulse nightclub in Florida. That word Pulse is your keyword. Pulse is the name of the Christian movement that is going to be meeting on the Washington, in front of the Washington Monument on July 16, so in a month. They're going to be meeting, and the Pope is going to be speaking via satellite to these people. And it's a great, they call Christian movement, which let me go to that post, if I get there. It says, Pope Francis joins Lecrae Hillsong at historic 1 million strong Together DC event. And the name of their organization is Pulse. The person who is the leader, his name is Nick Hall, and he met with the Pope and gave him his book called Reset. All these things mean things. The words pulse, the word reset. What are they doing? They're trying to reset the world with their ecumenical agenda. Ecumenical means to bring everybody together. And you know what their slogan is? Together 2016. So they want to bring everybody under the Catholic system. And what does the Bible say about the Catholic system? We all know that, so we don't have to go over that. But what I want to show you is that word pulse. That's the name of the foundation. The founder of Pulse is Nick Hall, and he met with the Pope, and now he's bringing Christians together. For some reason my video is wanting to be interrupted. So he was a college pastor who came up with the radical idea of uniting pastors and Christian leaders from all denominational backgrounds to join 1 million people at this event. It's called Together 2016, and this will happen at the National Mall in Washington, D.C. And you can visit reset2016.com. So that shows you right there. They're trying to reset history. Now, that's the name of the Christian movement. It's called Pulse. That's the name of the place where supposedly these people got shot. It's the name of it is Pulse. That is also the name. That is also the name of a movie called Pulse, where the plot of the movie is about a gay nightclub. That's where these people were. So first of all, they give you the propaganda. And this movie was out a couple of years ago. They put that into people's minds so that every time you're just putting in the same words, pulse, 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 Christian movement, nightclub for gays. Now look at this. Go to Wikipedia and look up United Nations Global Pulse. What this is, it's real-time surveillance under the United Nations. So the United Nations is, let me see if I have that Wikipedia thing for the global nations. I don't think I have. Oh yes, here it is. Okay, what it is, an initiative of the United Nations that attempts to bring real-time monitoring and prediction to development and aid programs. The United Nations Global Pulse was launched in 2009 as an information initiative by the Executive Office of the United Nations Secretary General. And what it is increasing the number for big data for development. In other words, everything that has anything to do with data, they want it all together. The data sources that Global Pulse has investigated include Twitter, Facebook, obituaries, birth announcement, job postings. Now let's look at another fact. The Pope met with the leaders in surveillance through Facebook and through Twitter and through Google. He met with Tim Cook, I think it was recently, it was January 22nd, 2016. So he met with Eric Schmidt and Tim Cook, both who had been connected to Google. You can look them up. He had met with Schmidt, and then he met with Cook. So here you see the pulse, the word pulse. It's being put into your head. This is how they brainwash you. They transform your mind, put you in a trance with words, using words and hidden meanings, because Satan uses words because he knows that Yah uses parables, so he's going to copy him and use words and occult meanings. And all this is together. This word pulse is being used on you right now. Now, you just saw that the United Nations has their own pulse, and it's real-time surveillance. So, after this psychological psyop on the country, what did Hillary say about this? Let's go. She says, Hillary Clinton calls on tech companies to help disrupt terrorist plots. This is written in The Guardian in the tech section. And she says, we already know we need more resources for this fight. The professionals who help keep us safe would be the first to say we need better intelligence to discover and disrupt terrorist plots before they can be carried out. That's why I've proposed, she says, an intelligence surge to bolster our capabilities. So what does she want? She wants technology companies to be more cooperative to government, and she has this surge that she's asking for. So you've got the Pulse, a Christian movement connected to the Pope. You've got the Christian movement. You've got the Florida Pulse thing to get people to agree that we need to have more surveillance. We've got the Global Pulse that has real-time surveillance. We've got an alleged shooter who worked for G4S, which was formerly Wachenhut, which was run by ex-FBI and CIA. They were a contractor for the government, and their client was Crisis Cast. So Wachenhut had a client, and they were crisis actors. And then you've got the United Nations with their Global Pulse, and if you go to Jesuit.org, they are the non-governmental organization affiliated with the United Nations. And Jesuit.org is a military branch of people parading themselves around as priests, but they're going around and infiltrating your church, which they infiltrated the SDA church and took over, and that's why we have their little insignia, because Ellen G. White says that the papists mark their thing with a, let's look at her quote, 384 in the Great Controversy, the original Great Controversy, because the other one has been co-opted. But this is what she says: papists place crosses upon their churches, upon their altars, and upon their garments. So when you go to your SDA church, you have crosses on your buildings. You have a cross on your quarterly with little new insignia that they changed over from being SDA to Catholic, with the cross and the Bible and the six snake squiggle lines as your insignia. So you got Ellen G. White, your prophet, telling you that SDA has been taken over. You can also read in the testimonies for the church, and I've got this quote on the website at timesandlaws.com, page 578, and testimonies to the church. And the reason why people don't know is because she says the people stopped reading her testimonies. Well, if you read this testimony, you'd know that she predicts that the Catholic Church took over the church, and they prescribed the church, and they had a cross and a reed in their hand. So you can put a question below, and I would be glad to give you any quotes that we have on this. But I want to read something to you. Revelation 13:11. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake like a dragon. So right now, when you see speaking like a dragon, don't wait for the Sunday law to get your life in order. Don't wait for the Sunday law, because see, he's speaking like a dragon. And let me give you an Ellen G. White quote. This is what she says. You're not getting this at your churches, yet you have so much, what's the word? Like loyalty to them. Yet they are the Catholic Church coming to you through their writings and their spiritual formation. And it's in the middle of every single quarterly right now. You see Jesus 101, which is a spiritual formation teaching. And for some reason, Satan's not wanting me to open up my Word document. Okay, let's just close this thing and go to it. Okay, I can't go to it. Let's go to my Hotmail and get it there. Oh, maybe I have too many of these things open. Okay, let's just talk about it. So Ellen G. White has some quotes where she talks about who is this beast that comes out of the earth. It's the United States. It has 2 horns, and the reason what those 2 horns represent is the Republican or the Republic, which nobody calls the United States a republic anymore, because they don't want you to know that it's a republic. Maybe this will work now. No, it's weird. Okay, so I'm going to get this quote if it kills me. All right, it says that they're going to repudiate every principle of my computer is frozen. And so right here it says the beast speaks as a dragon. And everybody in the SDA church is waiting for Sunday law before they get worried. Well, you've got the whole United Nations watching your every move through surveillance, through your Facebook that you won't get off of, through these Twitter accounts, etc., etc. They're watching everything that you do. So is this there? If you look at this false flag where Hillary is saying we need more surveillance, and the Pulse Initiative for the global for the United Nations is called Pulse, and you've got this Christian meeting in a month that's called Pulse, and they're trying to let you know we're watching you, and they're going to do a reset, and they're the pulse of the world, and they can see you, and this is what they're going to do to you. You don't know that part because it's in the Laudato Si, calling people heretics that don't come under the Catholic, this thing what they call Together 2016. If you don't want to come under that, then they're going to be totally against you. So let's go to timesandlaws.com, because I do have something I want to read to you from there, if my computer will go to it. There's the study called Rome Hates the Law of Moses, where it has the Spanish Inquisition. I want to read to you directly from the Spanish Inquisition, the Edict of 1492. It says, "You know well or ought to know that whereas we have been informed that in these our kingdoms, as they consider their places, their kingdoms, there are some wicked Christians who Judaize and apostatize from our holy Catholic faith." They go on to say what they're doing, but I want you to go to the website and read it for yourself so you can see what's happening. But I'm going to give you what they say. They say, "We are informed by the inquisitors and by other devout persons, ecclesiastical and secular." So these people that you consider secular, they're devout to them. This happened then, it's happening now. These false things, they have laws that say that they can give you propaganda. That's the NDAA of 1078, done on 12/29/12. They can lie to you, yet you don't want to believe that they're lying. You don't want to believe this is a false flag. You don't want to believe they're watching you. They have their hand on your pulse, on the earth's pulse. They can see everything that you're doing, and yet you're going to wait till the Sunday law to do anything about it? You have to know that these guys infiltrated the SDA church and have blocked you from information since after Ellen G. White's death. There's been prophets sent to the SDA church and they said they were evil. Why would they? Because the Catholics in this book right here, Testimonies for the Church, they took over the church in Ellen G. White's day. And they say that whatever true people say, that it's actually proscribed, which means they're danger. We're a danger to them. But as long as we accept all this ecumenical teaching and the serpent lying to you every week on your pulpit from these people, even those who are saying, "Oh, well, we're living in the last days." There's 2 or 3 on the internet, these SDAs. I try to write this about the pulse and the false flags and all this on their websites. I've tried to make a comment on Shepherd's Rod's websites on everything that's happening right now, but what do? They have the same spirit of the Jesuits. They keep it from you and they say, "Oh, I can't let that be written on, you can't write those comments on my thing." They won't even tell me, they'll just erase it. So why are they hiding it? They have the same spirit of the Catholic Church that you're speaking against their holy order and they're not going to let you speak. And then you have those who are maybe not actual Catholic Jesuits, but they do whatever they say because they just run by them and they've been manipulated to think that there's going to be some, people come in and take over the church when it's already been done. They're warning you about something that happened a long time ago. "Oh, well, we can't let that here. You don't know. We have to protect the sheep." These protectors of the sheep are protecting the sheep from last day messages. Go to timesandlaws.com for last day messages. Go to timesandlaws.com to see all the quotes that I can't get on because my computer won't let me go to my Word documents for some reason. And you can see that the Catholic Church took over a long time ago, folks, and it's not just about the Sunday law. It's about all of the laws of Yah. He had more than just the Sabbath law given to us. In fact, if you go to Leviticus, you'll see the laws. And then Ellen G. White says herself that the gospel was given in Leviticus. So all of you who are saying that the law of Moses has been abolished, you don't realize it. The Catholics gave you that doctrine. They gave you the doctrine that's a lie, that Yah doesn't care about the laws that he spoke to Moses. But the Bible itself says, man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yah. And what does Nehemiah say? That the word that he spoke to Moses is the word that Moses wrote in a book. It's his words. He did not say, "I don't want you to keep these laws anymore." That's a lie from the Catholic Church. So go to timesandlaw.com, click on Rome Hates the Law of Moses and the Spanish Inquisition, read what they wrote there. Read it for yourself. Don't let these people like Hal Meyer, who give you a nice cozy thing about the last days, but they don't even know what they're talking about and they block truth. Don't go to your Shepherd's Rod leaders because they're writing falsehoods about the law of Yah. And the people who get the mark of the beast are those who will not take Yah's law and put it in their heart. Look in Deuteronomy 6, it talks about if you do these things, they're written on your hand and your forehead. That's the mark of Yah, written in Deuteronomy 6, and it's all the laws of Moses. So this lie that the law of Moses was nailed to the cross is a lie, because if that were true, then you wouldn't have to keep the Sabbath, because the Sabbath is written in that law. It's one of the first feasts that he says, these are the feasts of the Yah, and it's the seventh-day Sabbath. It's a feast. And Ellen G. White kept the feast. Everybody says, well, Ellen G. White didn't keep the feast. Really? Because 1844, October 22, 1844 was the Day of Atonement. She kept that day. She made confession for her sins and she kept that day. They thought that Yahshua was coming and that was a mistake. But she kept that feast day. She was a feast keeper. She kept the seventh-day Sabbath. That's a feast. Read Leviticus 23, 2 and 3. It says, these are my holy feasts, and it starts with the Sabbath. So don't let Rome keep you from knowing the truth. That's what all these little websites that you give your money to, they won't allow for comments to be written on there. If you write a comment that they agree with, or you write a comment that's okay or kind of a little controversial, they'll let you, but they won't let you write a comment about these false flags. Why? These false flags are given by the Spanish Inquisition people themselves, which is the Catholic Church. You being used by the United Nations, who's run by the Jesuits, who just recently opened up Canada and the United States. These Catholics were not supposed to come into the United States because the woman fled for her life. She fled so that this place would be a place of religious freedom. What kind of religious freedom is it if you cannot tell the truth from the Holy Scriptures? If you cannot make a comment on somebody's website that's a Seventh-day Adventist, they block you. That's not religious freedom. And I have a little booklet that's talking about religious liberty in the SDA church and how there's been no religious liberty. And this thing was written in the 1940s. There's no religious liberty if you can't speak in Sabbath school and tell the truth. There's no religious liberty if you can't talk about false flags being run by the CIA, the FBI, and the Jesuits all together. Why? Because they want you. They want their pulse on you, and they're wanting to bring you together for this last day event, and you're waiting for the Sunday law. If you're waiting for the Sunday law, you're too late.